So like, but I also like, I don't know, man. This whole everything is just, it's crazy how we're just like thrown into this shit, and it's just like, all right, now it's your turn to go do this shit, but it's like, why?
Yeah. Well,
Like, why? I don't know. You know, they just made this shit up, and now we just gotta do it. Like, what the fuck? That shit weird.
here's a question.
Yes.
Do you think? Let me backtrack. So, we're millennials,
Uh huh.
and oftentimes you hear from like older generations that millennials are too soft
Yeah.
or too sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, although I can understand at times why they would say that. Do you think generations? Do you say that about generations younger than us? Of like y'all are too soft. Of like when I was your age, like
Mm. No.
no, just
I
me.
you well, okay, in a way, I would say that in a way, yeah, because they're more indoor type for the most part, and they
Yeah.
we didn't really have, like, all you had was like your neighborhood at a time. At this point in time, that was what you had, your family and your neighborhood, whoever you live near or wherever you're, like, that's probably for the weekdays. Your weekends, your mom might drive you somewhere to hang out with other friends, but basically for me it was like wherever you wherever we lived at, the friends that were in our area that was safe enough for my mom to let us walk around, and like that's who we hung out with. That's what we learned. We weren't on the internet talking to each other. We went and knocked on each other's doors, went walked to the park, played football or something in the park, played baseball in the park, walk home, make sure you're home before the street lights turn on, not what your cell phone says, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and just like living life like kind of in a different way, to where like it's cool that we got the technology. I like it, but it was also cool growing up without it in a way, because it was just more like focused on what's in front of you and not like what everybody's doing, what
Yeah.
everybody has, like, you know what I mean? So now that's a little different.
Kids playing outside
Yeah,
is
they don't play
a
outside.
rarity.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
not like that.
no, like growing up, you and like
Yeah,
your friends would just go and play outside by yourselves.
yeah,
Uh, but like now, like
mm-hmm.
understandably so.
Yeah,
You know, it's like there's more media attention on like kids getting snatched up and stuff, and so
yeah,
kids aren't really playing outside by themselves anymore.
yeah. Well, imagine, imagine a kid walking with a bag of like balls. Like, you used to go to the store and we would just want different types of balls. Like, you would just want like a kickball, a basketball, baseball, like all this shit, and we would just carry that was like our shit to have fun. Like,
Okay.
it wasn't like a video game,
No.
but I can never see that happening now. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just interesting, but
Yeah. Kids
I was
are.
yeah,
Yeah. I like that point you
yeah,
made of kids are more inside
mm-hmm,
than they are going outside.
yeah,
Like, but I don't know. I was talking to somebody else about this
mm-hmm,
of like kids nowadays are like more dependent on their phones or like
yeah,
social media,
yeah,
uh, and don't really know how to interact like
yeah,
outside of that environment.
uh,
Uh, and like I say that like arguably still as a kid, you know, I'm a
yeah,
married man, but
yeah. We're
you
still
know,
young.
younger.
Yeah,
But interactions with people like outside of a phone or like outside of like a social media platform is like earth shattering for
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Like when I was in college, 2 years younger than me,
Mm-hmm.
so I would be like a junior at the time. A freshman walks in,
Yeah.
and I worked in sports and rec,
Okay.
so sports and recreation
Yeah, I remember
on
that,
campus. And so like people want to play sports or whatever, they could come and sign up, and I would help them sign up.
Yeah.
Like college kids, 18, 19-year-old adults, they come in with their parents, and their parents talk for them like, hey, Matthew here would like to sign up for kickball.
Yeah. Like what?
And you know, like,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying this of like, you know, if he has like a learning, you know, something like that where he needs his parent around, but like,
yeah.
I would do the medical background for him, like see if there's any conditions with them.
Yeah.
These kids are fine. They just don't
Yeah.
like know how to interact like by themselves.
Man.
But here's
It's
the
harder.
other thing of like, for us, I feel like our parents let us like do our own thing within reason.
Within reason for sure. But yeah.
Like, no, like if we're in a restaurant and like very young, it's like, no, you tell them what you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, no, Shaquille, you tell the nice person what you want to order to eat. And this kid is just like with his mom. Like, hi, Matthew would like to sign up.
And Matt is just on his phone.
Well, Matthew's just like behind his mom, like not knowing what to do. I was like, what?
Matthew,
I was like,
you gotta step
Matthew,
step
wherever you are.
Up. Yeah. But man, that shit is interesting because I feel like, I don't know. It's like a lot of stuff that was different, but it's not all bad, but it's just weird to see it changing like that much. Cause I feel like when I don't know, I feel like they have a lot to think about now, kids. Like, but they shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like they're seeing a lot of
they're
shit.
exposed to way more than we were.
Yeah, you're
at the
supposed
same
to
age.
just be young and let your mind do the shit that it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
but
overexposed at a young age.
Now they're thinking about the wrong things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it could be good for some kids because maybe it's gonna be some kids saw like a rapper he liked or something on his phone. Instead of having to go buy the CD or having to ask your mom to buy a CD, you could just find it on the internet.
Yeah.
And listen, now you're into that. Now he's might be the next, you know?
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, technology definitely has its place.
Yeah.
You know, in society, but I don't know. As somebody who, you know, works in IT, I also know like technology will there's a strong dependence that can form with people where you come too overly dependent on it. And I think that's the issue with like generations younger than us.
Yeah.
Whereas like us and then generations older than us, like didn't grow up with technology in their everyday life. Like I grew up with dial-up internet. Like that's
bro,
about as flashy as technology as I was exposed to at a young age.
Bro,
and like,
we were hyped to have dial-up.
Right, but with that, it was still like you couldn't use it. You know, if somebody like picked up the phone and made a call in your house, like you didn't have internet.
Yeah.
And like you didn't like go down like a YouTube rabbit trail or like get lost in social media. And so you had to like go outside and like face like be exposed to the real world that way.
Yeah.
Versus now it's like it's opposite. It's like, yes, kids are like learning a lot more about the world, and like for the kid who's watching rap videos now at a very young age and can like build up his craft, that's good, but he's also very dependent on that technology to where like things when we were kids came up of like somebody calling you a mean name in person.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Or like
niggas are like depressed now because the internet.
Yeah, and that's where, to circle back to like generations older than us, saying like, you know, millennials and like whatever generation below us is, they're sensitive to things. and it's true, but not for the reason that like they think it. They think it's just like we're just born softer than they were, but it's like, well, they're also being raised by parents, and so the parents are kind of like helping with their sensitivity
So
growing.
in a way, also, I also think they are bold in a way of like, I feel like these young kids, they might fight somebody or do some wild shit or like really stand up to an adult like very quickly and easily. That's one thing. That was why I said they're not soft. For some reason, I just feel like they're like, they will like confront when it needs to be done and all that, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe that's just what I think.
More reactive, maybe?
Yeah. They're like, I don't give a fuck. Like, what's up? Like, you know, kind of shit. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I guess, that would be one road potentially. Yeah. But I still think with like, I don't know. For example, if somebody says something mean on, Instagram or Twitter, like you have time to walk away from that, process it in your own time and world, and then respond to your online version of yourself of how you would say it versus like in person, if like you have like an actual relationship with somebody. And like most of your relationship is on your phone with that person, and then in person, like you guys break up. Like I feel like the kid who spent all of his time or her time on their phone, like formulating their like emotional
into that.
Like when that happens, they're so not prepared, and so they're more sensitive to something like us or like generations before us. When like somebody broke up, like that was, you were more prepared for it versus like you can't run to your phone because it happened in person.
So that was okay. I feel that. So we used to, that is true also because we used to fight like, like we would have like fights like scheduled and shit. And like you just be there, like I don't even know, it's like I feel like you would just walk outside and you might be doing your thing, like going to like play baseball, whatever, kickball, and you see another group of kids doing the same thing and one of them say something to you right there, then it's like, oh, I'm gonna have to fight this nigga because you know what I mean? Like, you can't go home. It's not like, oh, he said this to me on Twitter, so I'm about to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, say this back. And then once if he says something else, then I might, it's like, no, like, that was a lot. Do you have any stories or like, did you get any fights in your neighborhood or anything?
Not because of that. If anything, it was just tied to like, I was just in a group of people who were fighting, and so I was just fighting with like, it's like, all right, I guess we're fighting now. I more so broke up fights.
Oh yeah, you're that type of person.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't know, the rationale or like why people got to that point. I'm not like in the heat of it. So I can like look at the outside perspective. It's like, all right, so
stupid.
You bumped into him in this crowded place where everybody's bumping into everybody. And you want to punch him in the face for doing what everybody else is doing. I don't see a reason to do that. Maybe understand you're in a crowded place and don't do that again. And so like that's more my role. Like I don't know. I have been like blindly angry, so I can understand people being
me too,
like very angry where you're like, no, I just
but
have
it's
to
hard
punch
to
somebody and
get like
like
that.
it's just, I have to hit you now.
It's hard for me to get like that. I don't get that upset like anymore unless some, I don't know, it really have to bother me. But when I was young, I used to fight a lot, and I feel like you would just kind of like fight because, like I said, like somebody, if something happened, you might have done something to somebody, like, but I don't know, like sometimes you just didn't like people, but it was no like sneak dissing type shit back in the day.
No,
it was like, I don't like you, you about to know I don't like you. Like this nigga, one time, this dude threw a rock at a brick. Like I got hit with a brick in the back of the head, I think, and I was like crying and shit. I was a little kid, and Sterling walked me home, and then Sterling was like, tomorrow. And so the next day, like we got off the bus stop like a stop early or something. I just beat the shit out of this kid. But he like, you know what I mean? Like it was no talk. Like I didn't talk to him. I didn't see him. Although, you know what I mean? Till we got on the bus. And then we got off the bus and it was just like, I'm gonna have to fuck this nigga up. Like, you know. But it's just so weird now. Like if something happens, it's gonna be a lot of like, you know, people are gonna be talking about, like, probably nobody even talked about it besides whoever was on that same bus stop. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, so I don't know. Shit is weird. Like the word gets spread fast now. Everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
you lose your job over this.
Yeah, you can lose your job over anything that they find on the internet now. Like that's so crazy. Like, oh, I'm gonna check his Facebook before I hire him and see what he's posted. Like, you know. So.
Well, understandably so.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
There's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
He works in the federal space up here.
Yeah.
And so for like certain hiring, like obviously I understand people don't want, like, you know, it's my business, don't go into my personal life. But the guy that he was working with, he helped plan or was like one of the organizers that had to do with Charlottesville. So he was like handing out reading materials to people, sending out like weird emails. And they go on his Facebook and it's just like littered with like alt-right, you know, white supremacist stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I think we should maybe let this guy go.
Yeah.
Versus, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like,
that's actually really good. That I love Black Twitter too. Shout out to them too for exposing these niggas sometimes, because like we need that, because there's a lot of people that were going to work with that person and kind of like feeling something, you know, but it's like, what are they supposed to do? But if you mess up one time and the internet finds you, like, that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's good. Right. Like, we need to get those people out here so I can think about what they did. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and then like just see what is really happening. Like, you're losing your job for you thinking like a dumbass. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, like, public service announcement, I feel like, for people. Since the internet is very fast spreading, I guess, and that anything you post, millions, billions of people could potentially see it. Yeah. If you're looking for work or a job, just be conscientious of the things you post. True. You know, if you're wanting to work somewhere and you know, you go on a long rampage about your boss. Yeah. Good chances is they'll see it. Yeah. And that's true. Shouldn't be shocked if that causes a problem in the workplace and you're no longer allowed to work there.
I feel like recently there was someone he posted like I stand with the Louisville PD or some shit, and I was just like, I don't want to see this anymore. And I just unfollowed him. And I don't even really like unfollow people. I don't really like do much on my Instagram, whatever. But that shit, unfollow. It's not like I was like, I feel like I wasn't even mad at him. He's a black male. I was kind of disappointed. And I was just like, I mean, like, I'm not trying to tell people how to think or anything. That's why I don't say anything to people. But I'm like, I don't want to see this. You know what I mean? Yeah. I like that part about the internet too, is where you do have your separate things. Like, you can be a part of the groups that you want to be a part of, you know?
But see, now what do you do? Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
If you work with him.
If you work with him.
Like, what do you do in that situation? As a millennial, as a sensitive millennial, as they say, you work with the guy. Yeah, and he says something like that. Or he believes something like that.
Yeah. I'll be like, you know, maybe bring him some information from a different point of view.
Bingo.
Because
Bingo.
they're only thinking in one way.
Yeah.
And you might be thinking in one way, but if
Yeah.
you know, like, that whatever this person says is not, it's still not going to be right.
Sure.
Like, you have a potential chance to be right. This is not right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you know that it was, like, they didn't receive the justice. Like, you shouldn't support the fact that that happened. Like, you know, Breonna Taylor, like, didn't get what she deserved at all, you know? And it's like, that's just a fact of life. Like, we all know that. So I feel like there's not much the other person will be able to say in their defense, unless he was going to say something that could ruin everything, because it's just not right, you know?
Sure.
So
no, I think that's fair. Of having a conversation on it.
Yeah.
Of hey, here's my perspective on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I appreciate you saying that, because I feel like a lot more people need to have that conversation with people.
Definitely.
Especially now, like in the middle of a election season, a lot of things going on, a lot of information being spread around, and I think it can become to the point where people will, like, not talk to somebody without having that conversation.
That's true.
And it's different, right? Because I don't put a lot of weight on, like, a social media friendship.
Yeah.
Like, Facebook, you can have thousands of friends.
Yeah.
You're maybe cool with, like, 50 of them.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. But in, like, person-to-person interactions, I feel like you do need to be able to have these conversations.
Yeah.
Of, hey, I don't agree with what you said at all.
Yeah.
By the way, me disagreeing with you doesn't mean I hate you.
Yeah.
At all.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just like, hey, I'm thinking differently on this thing here.
Yeah.
Here's some information that I have. Arguably, here's some truthful information that I have.
Yeah.
And I think your perspective, although I value you as a person, I don't agree with your perspective on this.
Yeah.
Should happen more.
Yeah, it should. I think just people, I mean, people get caught up in their own things. And they might need you to say something to them because they don't know yet, but you know.
No, that's exactly that. I feel like you're doing more of a disservice by passing it on to the next person. Of not talking to them right then and there. And you can leave it up to, like, maybe they are just misinformed on this. Like, they're just surrounded by people who arguably believe the same thing, and none of them have that different perspective. And so if you were to approach them with a different perspective, that gives them the chance then to be like, oh, I never saw it that way. I might reconsider.
Exactly.
Or they can say, I still don't believe that. We can agree to disagree on this. But at least at that point, you know
that this is just it. Like, you don't need to be around that person if you don't want to.
Right. But also, I think it needs to be understood. If somebody is misinformed, like I said earlier, like, they just don't have the information. They're just going off of what everybody else says.
True.
And you give them the correct information or the truth, and then they still believe their own way. In my book, that is what ignorance actually is. Whereas I feel like people who could just really be misinformed or not know are often coined ignorant. And also because people aren't having that conversation with them.
That's
like,
true.
Hey, I think here's some information for you. Maybe nobody's ever said that to him. They just say, I hate this guy because he thinks differently on a certain thing than I do.
And they'll already start treating him like, you know.
And I get it. I I myself may sound a little ignorant right now because some of these issues are like they're very close to home.
Yeah, exactly.
For a lot of people, you know, it's not like I like the Bears and you like the Vikings.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna hate you because you like the Vikings. It's very different. Like talking about Breonna Taylor, like that's a very close to home.
Yeah, it's hard, man. People
topic.
Starting to deal with that.
Yeah,
so it's like you can't. That emotions that added. It's gonna everything is a little more difficult.
But even still, the human mind in those situations is gonna react. It's gonna be the exact same. Of like, I'm a Bears fan because I'm surrounded by other Bears fans.
Yeah.
Like actually, the Bears aren't that good. There's another team out there called, you know, I'm not gonna say the Vikings because I am a Bears fan. But regardless, there's another team out there that's better than the team you're cheering for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I could be like, you know what? You're actually right. They are a better team. That makes more sense. I'm going to root for them.
Yeah.
Or, nah, I'm going to, you know, I'm going to stick by this.
Yeah, it's just like I'm sticking by Jimmy Butler. Let's get it. Even though he's not on Chicago anymore, I'm rooting for the Heat.
Yeah, just let him go, man.
Let's go,
He's
man.
gone.
Nah,
he's gone like Derrick Rose's cartilage in his knee.
Honestly,
man.
we got to end this episode soon so we can watch that game.
Nah, but, yeah.
What the fuck did you just say? But anyways.
The point I was trying to make is like on some of these very serious topics, it's not to like undermine or underplay how serious it is.
Yeah.
But I think if people can like still have those conversations with people they disagree with.
Yeah.
Despite how hard you know it may be.
Yeah, it'll be hard for
like,
sure.
I don't know, with like a huge scoop of like compassion when you do it too.
Yeah.
That's definitely lacking in conversations of like, hey, despite how you may feel about this, this is also a human life that we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so having that compassion when you talk about it of like, that could be anybody, you know? And so when you approach that conversation of like, here's some facts to your perspective that I disagree with, but here's some information that I believe to be true.
Yeah.
With the hopes that you would change your mind.
Yeah, exactly.
And they can respond one of two ways, but either way, you now have like the flag in in the sand, and so you know like where you stand.
That's true.
On that argument, and you don't have to be friends with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think having that conversation before you make the decision of like running away from them, or disassociating with them, needs to happen a lot more.
Definitely.
But
yeah.
So,
anyways, switching up everything completely. Do you think aliens are real?
Man, it's tough. What do you define an alien as?
So I would just say an alien would be, to me, some type of foreign creature. Maybe could look like us, but in a different way. But I feel like it could either be something that's currently amongst us, or it could be something that has been here before on this planet Earth. Or last thing, it could be just different beings in a different galaxy, in a different universe or whatever. Wait, the universe is the one verse, the galaxies. So in a different galaxy, like I said the first time. Yeah. So those three things: something that's here. The second thing was something
like they're here among us.
Been here. Yeah.
I don't know. Some of our friends are pretty strange. I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some shady individuals running around. Be like, I don't know. Maybe that's not a human form in there.
Well, there's this specific reason why I said the first one. Normally, I wouldn't have said that one, but I saw this video of unsolved mysteries, like, and I know that shit. Whatever it is, it's just entertaining. But it was very weird because there was these like these two guys that I think had people had kept seeing, and they were calling them the Men in Black. Like I think because they were just two dudes in wearing black suits, white shirts, but they were like on like a little hat or whatever, fedora type shit, whatever you wear with a suit. But they were like the same height, same, like they looked the same. They just looked like twins maybe, but very tall, very like just walk like type dudes, like, and like there was like this little security footage that they showed of them. I was just like, that is so weird. Like what if the Men in Black, like this is stupid as shit, but this is why I love this podcast. Listen to my podcast, Friends Friday, French Fries. But like, what if they were like here to? What if they were doing that shit? What if that, like in the movie? What if Will Smith and what's his name? Damn, what's his name?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, Tommy Lee's. What if they were aliens too? I don't even remember how that shit ended, but they were there to hunt. Whatever, you know. Who cares? But anyways, that's why I'm like, maybe there is some weird ass things out here, like tall out, like a fucking like, what is Giannis Antetokounmpo? That nigga's tall as hell. He's just doing some crazy shit.
Leave him alone.
What if he's not an alien, but shit, Shaquille O'Neal, any of them. What
just
if
any tall person?
Aliens? Yeah, just a tall nigga.
Yeah,
nah, but
nah, if you over 6'7", you're suspect, man.
Yeah, nah, but that's why I said that part. The other ones, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like there is like living organisms, like algae and stuff.
Yeah.
Elsewhere, I don't know
if there's like a full
like human
type,
like
I swear
intelligent species.
Yeah.
Elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like no. I also feel like that's ignorant of me to say, but I don't think so. But like the universe is also endless. Like outer space is endless. So
and we don't know all that we should. So
I don't know.
So like, even for my point number 2, which was them being or been here before. There's a bunch of shit that happened, like we were talking about the other day. Some random shit that happened like in the past, like BC type shit, whatever the fuck. I don't even know. Just like weird things, like hieroglyphics. Sometimes they have shown like what would look like a fucking astronaut, which I learned on this. It's not you learned it. This shit is not saying that it happened, but like, so what would make like a caveman type nigga draw somebody that looks like they're in a spacesuit? Like what they draw what they see. Why are you draw? You know what I mean? Like what are you doing? Like what if it was somebody from the future? Like that's what they were saying. Like what if it was somebody from the future that went back in the past and like they saw that, and maybe what if that's where that idea of aliens come from like time travel, if that's ever going to be possible. But if it is, we're not about to do all that shit, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah. See?
I don't
and
know.
Like the pyramids, like, do you think these niggas really carried all those big ass rocks?
I put my back into some things. I feel like
like shit, like, you know what I mean? But I don't know, man. It's just weird. I think there's some shit out there. Come fuck with me if they're not like fuck with me like that. Like come get on the podcast if you're an alien.
Please.
Thank you. But yeah. Anyways, last thing. Would you like to tell any ghost stories? Because we tried to do that last time when I fucked the audio up and we
ghost
didn't get your story. Yeah.
Hey. There have been some spooky occurrences in my time.
Mm-hmm.
Staten Island, New York. Have some family there, staying at a very old house, like many houses in Staten Island, super old.
Yeah.
Don't know how old, really old.
Yeah.
But in this particular house, for background, the basement is where they used to prepare bodies for funerals. So a lot of dead people in the basement. So that's pretty spooky already.
That is.
But my I guess my ghost story or my spooky interaction in this house.
Yeah.
We're all sitting around the dining room table, and above each of the doorways there's a horseshoe and a cross or a crucifix.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they did that. I don't know if it's like a superstition or maybe they've had some spooky interactions themselves.
Yeah.
But regardless, we're sitting around the dining room table. There's a cross and a horseshoe nailed to the wall.
Yeah.
Been there a long time. As we're sitting there, as we're sitting there, the cross flies off the wall. Like we're not just like it didn't just fall. Like nobody like slammed a door and it just fell to the ground. It jumped across the room from the doorway.
No.
Went all the way across the room.
Yeah.
We turned around. We saw what flew off. So the cross flew off the wall.
Yeah.
And we all looked at each other and we got up and left the room. Because whatever it was didn't want us in there anymore.
Yeah, like, bro, what? Like, I would have ran. Like, fuck, y'all looking at each other and shit.
Well, we just want to make sure,
well,
like,
true, I would have
like,
done that too.
hold up.
Because at the age,
before we panic, like,
yeah.
Did everybody just saw that cross fly off the wall, right?
Yeah. I hate when people confirm shit because that's when
like,
you know it's bad.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But that same night, go upstairs and go to bed. I think this was grandma's room where I was sleeping in.
Yeah.
It was by myself. I'm on a twin size bed.
Yeah. And Zach is a big guy, by the way. So twin size is not really the size he needs.
No, it's not. Yeah. And I had a quilt in the middle of a winter in New York. And so I'm laying on the bed, still thinking about the cross flying off the wall. The blanket falls off of me onto the ground. And I've seen enough movies. I'm like I'm not grabbing that.
Rip this shit off.
Yeah, I'm like, as soon as I reach down, like, that's it. That's the end of me. So I leave it. But I look over in the corner, and I believe this is grandma's room because there's just a lot of, like, I don't know, older women artifacts in this room of, like, rocking chair, knitting stuff, like, I don't know, older perfume, just like, I don't know, that was this room. Rocking chair. The moonlight was hitting it, so I could still see it. Yeah. But I'm looking at it, and I kid you not. There's no AC. It's an older house. Yeah. It just starts rocking while I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it for about 30 seconds just to make sure it's actually moving. Yeah. And it was like I had my.
Don't fuck with rocking chairs.
Yeah. It's just like it's going out of the light into the light.
Oh my God.
Out of the light into the light. Yeah. And so I just casually get up and I go to open the door and it's locked. I didn't lock it. Yeah. And so I'm like fumbling with this old doorknob and it's getting cold like in the room. I'm like,
oh my God, bro.
And so I finally,
I'm not going there. Martine and your dad were trying to hang out. What the fuck? Sorry.
And so I finally like get out of the room and like I go across the hall where my sisters are staying at. Yeah. And so I'm like banging on the door, like, yo, open the door right now. And they think it's like coming from like the closet. And so they're like kind of scared. So they're not moving. Yeah. And it's like still getting cold. I'm like
somebody let me in the fucking room.
like, this is it, man.
I've been freaked out too.
I was like,
sometimes I just give up like that too.
I was like, you know what, man?
Fuck it. Like,
I was like, you're throwing crosses.
Like, just come and do it. Like just, But man, that's crazy. Like, there was only one time there's a lot of shit that happened, but I think I told some of them, but I don't know if I told this one. There was one night where I was sleeping. My bed was like against the wall, and there's like my TV is to the right, and the door opens up like to that side of the TV, to the side of it. So I'm like, it's like 3 a.m. I'm watching the TV, and like I see my door to the room the door to my room just open, and it was just like a silhouette of somebody, and I was like, I was kind of like, huh? Or like, what? Like, because I didn't know what they said. I don't. They didn't say anything, but the door opens, looks. I can't see who it is at all. It's like a slight light behind them or whatever from like coming from down the stairs or something. So it's just like a silhouette. The door just closes back. And I thought it was my mom the whole night. So I'm like, so I just go to sleep, whatever. And then the next day, I'm like, Mom, why'd you like come to my room at 3 a.m. and like not say anything? She's like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? Nobody went in your room. I'm like, Mom, I thought you opened my door at 3 a.m. She's like, no, I didn't. So then I'm like, hold up, like who the? So I asked like the rest of my family. Nobody was even awake. So somebody just opened my door, looked in, and just closed it back. And yeah, don't know what the fuck that was. But anyways, it's getting about that time. Appreciate you coming on to the show.
Of course.
I'm glad we got to do it right this time.
This microphone stinks.
You stinks. But anyways, if you all want to follow me on Instagram, it's at LESS _PLUS. That is less plus on Instagram. Zach, would you like to share your Instagram?
That's okay. No, I am the manager, ZR. That's Z as in Zulu, R as in Romeo. The manager, ZR. On Instagram, you can fax me. You can follow me on LinkedIn. You can write me a letter.
You can request for him to solve a Rubik's Cube for you.
Yeah, I can solve a Rubik's Cube. I do Rubik's Cube consultations.
All right. Anyways, fuck you. Not you.
All right.
I'm talking to. No, sorry. I don't mean you guys either. God damn it.
Thanks for tuning in.
All right.
We'll see you. Thanks.
Peace.